What if Gojo had the six eyes, but not the limitless? How would he stack up? Well, we're going to talk about that and a bunch of other sponsored questions straight from you guys. So first up, we've got that very question from Prince, and this is a fascinating question. I've actually thought about this a lot. If we ever get a Heian era flashback, or we ever get any sort of JJK spinoff, I would absolutely love to see another Six Eyes user, and preferably one without Limitless. So I don't know what other, curse techniques may or may not be going through the Gojo clan, but the Six Eyes are just so powerful, it would be cool to see them utilized with some other curse technique. Now, if you're not familiar with the Six Eyes, I'll give a really brief breakdown here, but check out a video I did called Why Does Gojo Wear a Blindfold? And I give a more kind of in-depth explanation of them there. But they are not a curse technique, as some people seem to believe. They are a physical trait, just the same as, being born with brown hair or whatever you want to say, right? The Six Eyes are just another piece of your physical package. Pause. Anyway, what they do is they give you precise atomic control of cursed energy. But on top of that, they also give you extrasensory perception. This is why Gojo can see for miles, and he can see the flow of cursed energy within people's bodies and determine what their curse technique is just from seeing them use cursed energy. So they are insanely powerful, and this is a big reason why he is the honored one. He is the strongest because of the combination of Six Eyes and Limitless. So to see the Six Eyes used with another curse technique would just be fascinating. I think it's a massive power boost, even if you have a terrible curse technique. And for a what-if scenario, if he just had the Six Eyes and no curse technique, where would Gojo be? And I think he would still be one of the strongest in the verse. Now, not the strongest, because the Limitless technique, should not be undersold. It is extremely powerful. But Gojo is not only talented, but he also was very hardworking. So I think even if he didn't have the Limitless and only had the Six Eyes, he would still make his mark on the world. Probably not a special grade, given the definition of that is being able to take over a country by yourself, but I think he's easily a grade 1 sorcerer still. He would basically be akin to Yuji, but with the Six Eyes. So can you imagine Yuji with the Six Eyes? It's still nobody to mess with. Next up, we got this question from Delmar, who wanted to know if I could talk about Saki Rendo from Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade. And I actually refunded Delmar, and as I was filming this video, as soon as I refunded him, he sent me another donation doubling up, asking me to talk about Saki, and I can't remember right now, but another character. And Delmar, I refunded you not because I didn't want to do it or anything, but I haven't played that game, so I didn't think I could do you justice here. But I didn't want to refund you again and then you to triple up or anything, so please DM me on whatever platform you're watching on, and you can be more specific if there's something in particular you wanted me to talk about. But I wanted you to know that I haven't played this game yet, and if I haven't heard from you in a day or so, I'll refund the other one as well. Next up, we've got this series of questions from Kaden, starting with what is so significant about seeing Cleave and Dismantle? And it's significant because Cleave and Dismantle are invisible slashes, right? You can't see them with the naked eye. So Sukuna was just getting excited in his fight with Maharaga because Maharaga originally could not see the slashes and then started to. So Sukuna was picking up on the fact that Maharaga was adapting to his moves. And this just excited him because, Sukuna is all about the thrill of the battle. He's looking for that next good fight. So Maharaga showing some moxie in this way excited him. And to follow up on that, Kaden is wondering about a few specific characters here and if they might be able to see the slashes. So first up, we've got Gojo with his Six Eyes. And in my opinion, Gojo can see the slashes due to the Six Eyes. Like we were just talking about in the previous question, the Six Eyes can see the flow of cursed energy. So even if Gojo can't literally see the slashes in the same way, say, Maharaga did, I think because he could see the manipulation of cursed energy, he could functionally see them. Kind of in the way that Daredevil can see things from Marvel, if that makes sense. And while we're on the subject, with Toji, I think the same thing is probably true. He wouldn't be able to literally see the slashes, but Toji can sense change in atmospheric pressure and temperature and stuff. So if the slashes traveling through the air at all disturb the surroundings, even on a atomic level, maybe that's a bit extreme, but if they disturb the surroundings at all, I think Toji too could functionally see them. Now Yuji, just because he has Sukuna's cursed energy, would he hypothetically be able to see them? It's a good question. I don't think so. I don't think just having similar cursed energy to somebody would mean that you can then see the slashes. I don't even know if Sukuna can theoretically see his own slashes, Maybe he can, but Gojo, Toji, yes. Yuji, probably not. And then finally, this last question, would Yuta die if he picked up Kashimo's technique? Now, for my anime onlys, you're like, who's Kashimo? It's really not important. We're not going to get into it, so there's no real spoilers here. But to answer your question, I think yes. I think if he copied that technique to like its full extent, he too would perish. Next up, we've got this question from Florian. Y'all feel free to pause and read the whole thing if you want, but it's asking about could the nature of heavenly restrictions, specifically the ones in the Zenin clan, be cyclical? And I think that's totally possible. I actually have a video talking about if there is some sort of destiny connection between the 10 shadows and heavenly restricted users that's kind of in this same vein that you're asking about. So I would definitely check out that video. But yeah, I think that's totally possible. Like the way Gege has written this story, especially in the sense of it being a cyclical story with tons of narrative symmetry, I wouldn't put this past him at all. Now, will this be like an answer that we ever receive? Probably not, but like it makes sense to me. And while we're on the subject, I've got this question from Maximus, who is asking about how Maki and Toji have the same heavenly restriction. I did a full video on this. Best place to find it is YouTube. I will link it in a pinned comment if you happen to be watching there. If you're watching on the other platforms, maybe shoot me a DM and I can give you like a direct link that way. But yeah, that'll do way better than I can cover right now. Next up, we got this question from Marcus, who asks, Maharaga versus Toto, who wins? And I hate that you're asking me this because I'm going to have to slam my boy Toto, but Maharaga low diffs him. And it's just because Toto doesn't have a move in his arsenal that could take out Maharaga, because you need to take him out in one hit. Just like Sukuna with the fire arrow in Shibuya, you need something that's just going to completely devastate him before he has the chance to adapt. And Toto has nothing. Like, he's basically just physical stats, right? The clap boogie woogie is an amazing technique, but in and of itself, it's not a weapon, right? It's more of a strategic move. So Toto's getting clapped, pun intended. Next up, we've got this versus battle from Aaron between Ultra Instinct Goku and Gojo. Now, not a power scaler, as I always like to say, but I mean, just the way Dragon Ball scales is like ludicrous at this point, right? Like Goku sneezes and the entire galaxy is going to get destroyed. So in that respect, Gojo has no hope. But I don't know specifically what Goku has that gets past infinity. I'm not saying that he doesn't have something. He probably does. I'm just not familiar enough with the Dragon Ball canon at this point, to how ludicrous Goku scales at this point, to know specifically what that is. However, even if he doesn't have something that can get past infinity, he could just destroy the planet and Gojo will suffocate in space, right? Now, I know Gojo can teleport, but he can't teleport between planets. Like, he can't teleport that far. So I think Goku wins, if only for that reason. But then you're like, well, would Goku destroy the planet to win a battle? And I think in the terms of a versus battle like this, you have to assume that they're like bloodlusted fighting to the death. So I'll give it to Goku, but what I will say is that if Gojo can catch him in the domain, Gojo wins, right? Like, as strong as Goku is, his brain is not. So, like, that infinite void is taking him out, but I give it to Goku. And finally, y'all, we've got two questions from Kosimo Low Diffs Yuta. The first one is, explain why Tanjiro is not universal level, and this says it's serious. And I think this stems from a debate that was going on in the Discord, so plug for the Discord. We've got one now. You can find the links on my page. Come join us there and have ridiculous power scaling debates. But Tanjiro is not universal. I don't know like how this came up, so I don't really know like what part of this to debunk, but like clearly the Demon Slayer verse is not universal level. Like, that's ludicrous. I think, but I'm not sure because I wasn't there, I think this stems from the Infinity Castle being like literally infinite and then that's scaling it to universal, but that's a bit silly in my opinion. Not a power scaler, but yeah, to me, this is ridiculous. Demon Slayer is not universal. And then the other question from Kosimo Low Diffs Yuta is make a domain expansion for Kosimo. And this is interesting, right? Because spoiler warning for my anime onlys, should have said this. We talked about Kosimo earlier, but his technique kills him, but it makes him be able to do any phenomena and change his body with electricity. So my best guess is it would be a sure hit effect on like the electrical pulses he could send out. So maybe it's just like massive electricity bolts all of the time. That's going to do it for this one, y'all. Thank you so much to everyone who made this video possible.